Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. I'm going to continue the Tuesday morning teaching on mental health awareness. And today I'm going to continue with some thoughts about just a few myths and misconceptions about mental illness. Now, there are many misconceptions and myths about mental illness. I want to just share three thoughts with you just this morning. So if you would just let me just take a few seconds to share some things with you. Mental illness or mental disorders are signs of weakness or personal falls. That's a myth for the first one. If someone wants to be happy, they can simply be happy. If you ignore the problem and use willpower, the problem will simply go away. You see, these beliefs are inaccurate and hurtful, and not to mention they're not helpful at all. If we could just have willpower to get rid of all our illnesses, that would be wonderful. But that's truly not the way that works. It doesn't work for any of our illnesses, including mental illness or any of the mental health disorders. Treatment will differ, and the treatment strategies will differ for each mental health disorder depending on what the disorder is, how severe it is, just like any other illness. You don't treat somebody with severe COPD the same way you would treat somebody with a minor cold. So you have to understand the degree of what their illness is and the disorder is to really have a proper strategy. We're going to talk about strategies of treatment even before we break down the different diagnoses and the different mental health disorders on this series. Myth number 2. People with mental disorders are violent. Individuals living with mental health disorders are more likely to be a member of the general more likely to be a member of the general population to be violent than they are to be the recipient of violent acts. Matter of fact, there was some studies that was taking place in the University of North Carolina, Duke University, and a few others that said that people with schizophrenia, bipolar, and psychotic disorders are 2.5 times more likely to be attacked, raped, or mugged than the general population. Another way to look at it, for the most part, those who suffer from mental illness, especially chronic mental illness, are not always violent, although that's the myth that a lot of people give. But again, they're more unlikely to receive some of that the violence from others. And the last myth I want to talk about today is healthy people aren't affected by traumatic events. If they are, it's because they really have a mental health problem to start with. Well, that's a myth. That's a misconception. You see, traumatic experiences can hit anybody, and it doesn't matter if you're healthy mentally before or after the traumatic experiences. You will be affected by that traumatic experience. How you're affected depends on a lot of other factors. When we start lumping everybody together with mental illness and mental health disorders and start generalizing things, that's no different than us generalizing and say any other disorder, all people with heart attacks, all people with COPD, all people with pneumonia, all people with cancer. And there's some dangers with that generalization. So, in order to understand mental illness and be aware of how to treat it, we first of all have to get rid of some of our misconceptions. It's not all your fault. It's not all upbringing. It's not all, and whenever you say it's all whatever, there's a danger in that. So, in this series we're doing, I want you to keep coming back. We're going to dabble in just a little piece of mental health awareness each and every time we meet on a Tuesday. And then, as you can see that on YouTube, I've posted these in numerical order 1, 2, 3, and 4, so that even if you miss them on a weekly basis, you can go back and follow them. It's important that we be aware of mental health disorders, conditions, and how to treat them, and how we could be healthier physically and mentally. Thank you for joining me for Morning Moments this morning, and keep coming back. Keep sharing these with others. There's people who need to hear this, and it's important just to be kind one to another. Thanks for being with me, and until next time, I'll see you. May God richly bless you.